All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the new parent season kickoff notes. Just a few things that I want to go over here today and get everybody caught up with some of the processes of the group, or of the teams and the groups. Introduce a little bit more about what aquaponics swimming is. I'm not going to go into too much detail. Some of the slides are going to be a repeat from the full team presentation, but at the same time, just want to review a couple of things in there. I'm going to provide some information for supporting and encouraging your kids and helping them kind of stay on task with things, but also help them really become enriched in the program so that they can be successful and also have the opportunities to grow. Got a few processes I want to go through, just make sure you're clear on how to sign up for meets and some of the real basic stuff, but things that we take for granted because we've been doing it so long. And then the last thing we'll do is just give you some questions to ask yourself and as you go into the season to kind of set yourself up for measuring the success of the program and of yourself and of your swimmers over the course of the year. My name is Aaron Dean. I'm the head coach and CEO, I'm also National Training Group coach. I've been with aquaponics swimming since 2008. My background is I swam for 15 years prior to that in a competitive arena. Went to college, swam in college. I went to college to become a coach. I studied exercise physiology and exercise science, and went to college with the intention of learning everything that I could to become a swim coach. I've worked with a lot of kids. I've seen what works, I've seen what doesn't work. In working with the National Training Group, there's things that we want the kids to have at a certain level. At a certain age, and I've seen things that work really good, and I've seen things that we have to work through at that age and at that level if there's things that have not been done early on. So all of our long-term development, all the things that we talk about and we're building up to, not just as coaches but also in trying to instill in the parents and then the whole program, lead up to what we're trying to do with helping them reach their potential. My biggest goal here and in terms of my role in the program is to serve you guys as the team and also provide your kids with a great experience and make sure that experience is enriching and has some success in it and also has some opportunities for continued growth for the kids. Team overview, mission, vision. Again, not going to read through this because it was all part of the regular part or the full team presentation, but just realize that our goals and our direction is to provide a great experience for the kids to reach their potential as a competitive swimmer. We talked about this in the regular meeting, but USA Swimming is made up of all the USA states and LSCs. There's 4 zones, 59 local swimming committees, 3,100 teams, and over 330,000 athletes throughout the country. Eastern Zone is where we are, and then Potomac Valley Swimming is our local swimming committee that oversees our competitions and oversees registrations, things like that, and make sure that we're all taken care of with the regulations of USA Swimming. We're a nonprofit organization. Each parent is a member of the program with an account in good standing. Board of Directors oversees myself. I oversee the rest of the program with the coaching staff and the rest of the staff. We also oversee the daily operations, including accomplishing the strategic plans of the organization. The coaches are assigned duties, and a lot of them have other duties outside of coaching as well to help put the whole program together for us. The whole corporation, we have a number of different aspects that we use to help not just each piece of it in helping us to grow, but also to support the competitive endeavors that we have. So we have over 800 participants. We're planning to this year with lessons and homeschool, high school prep, speed squad, and our competitive team. And that all is supported by our staff, whether it's coaches, lifeguards, swim instructors, and administrators that we have. Team values or coaching values, and this is kind of an overview of what I talk to the coaches about and what I make sure that they have as part of their procedures that they take care of each day with their practices and with their lessons. First of all is respect. Second is integrity, being truthful with what they're talking about. Being positive, having a purpose for everything that they do. Being good leaders, and being relentless with achieving excellence and striving towards excellence, not just in the realm of their own self as a coach, but also instilling that in the kids that they work with. Access to resources. So there's a lot of websites out there that provide some really good information. If you're a new parent, the big three to look at besides Occoquan Swimming, Potomac Valley Swimming, which is our local swimming committee, like I said, they have some good information on their website. Even deeper is USA Swimming, where they've got some really good educational stuff, and also a connection of some of the terms and words that we use as coaches and that you'll hear and see in some of our newsletters and things like that. And then True Sport, it's got some really good stuff as a parent, helping to learn the ins and outs of how to best support your athlete, how to say things the right way that helps them become and have that growth mindset and have that future positive attitude. And ensuring that the things that we're teaching the kids kind of connect with what's going on in athletics these days. Then also lots of experienced parents out there. Obviously our administration and our your coaches. Feel free to reach out with any questions and clarifications that you have. Real quickly about competitive swimming. A lot of times from an outsider's perspective, it's a very demanding sport. Lots of skill work, lots of time, and a little bit crazy because we get up pretty early. We're here pretty late. There's a whole different lifestyle that happens when you're a competitive swimmer. But our view of what that is and how that takes place is that we just continue to build and inspire and excel physical and character traits through becoming the best possible student, person, and athlete. So yeah, there's a lot of time and a lot of work that's required, and it's a little bit crazy sometimes. Sometimes swimmings are very long, sometimes practices are very long, sometimes they're 4:30 in the morning, sometimes they go really late at night. So it is a little bit crazy, but it's all meant to be there so that we can provide these things and these opportunities for the kids to grow and learn. So I always want to, in all the meetings that I had this week, even with the upper levels, I wanted to remind us all why we're here. What are we trying to do? And yes, it's competitive swimming, and we're trying to help kids become the best and fastest swimmers they can possibly be. But we use swimming to help build up becoming the best adult they can be, to be ready for college, so that at some point in their lives they're going to be able to say, I've got all the skills I need, I got everything I need to be able to be successful in whatever I do. And that's through being responsible, being self-driven, being ethical, being confident, being physically fit, mentally tough, adaptable, and caring. Caring about the people you're with, the time you're with them, and everything else. And we do this through swimming. We do this through two aspects that we have as kind of our guiding lights and helping us to stay on task with what we're trying to do and building the kids up. And first is a long-term development. Each level within our program has a specific need or a specific reason, and it builds itself up to becoming more complex or more advanced as the kids get older. So that at the beginning, for example, they're learning to blow bubbles. At the end, they're learning to be an elite level performer, to be at the Olympics. So all the different character traits and things like that. We use the USA Swimming Athlete Development Model, which encompasses competence, character, confidence, and connection. And so the way this looks is that for ages of swimmers and through our athlete development model, this is the plan. This is the progression. As a 6-year-old, there's a couple of options, and then each age has some different options of the different practice groups that they can be a part of, and then ultimately coming up to the highest levels of senior and senior select, senior NTG, where we're instilling the level 6 stuff as much as they're ready for at that level to be ready to take it to the next steps. So when you talk about the athlete development model, the competence is the physical stuff, things like doing specific practice sets, being able to swim, perform things at different levels with dolphin kicks up to a certain point, being able to not breathe off the turns, things like that we're looking to progress throughout the course of their career. Cognitive, dry land, strength development, things like that, and then also nutrition, having that be part of their competence of how to take care of their body and how to be the best athlete they can possibly be. Character, we've got 3 aspects there: championship behavior and accountability, work ethic and self-discipline, time management. Competence is built up through the peak performance management, self-talk, imagery, and visualization, concentration, goal setting, meet practice behavior, and then connection, commitment to the team, and being loyal to your friends, loyal to your group, and loyal to your team there. So with this, I'm not going to share all the different details that go through with this or that go on with this, but the coaches are provided with a lot of information, or all the information that they need to be able to progress the kids throughout the course of a season, and then they pass that on to the next group so that they're ready to take it to a higher level as they get older. Early success in swimming. So I'm going to veer off just a little bit here and talk about some things that as a new parent just want everybody to be very aware of, and kind of learn from some of the experiences that we've seen over the number of years we've been involved with this, whether it's myself or the rest of the coaching staff, or with USA Swimming and some of the things that they share. First of all, early success in swimming. At a young age, early success in swimming can be very exciting and motivating and fun, and everybody's buying in, and we're all in this sport. And you probably have seen this within your own children and your community swim teams. The excitement when a young kid gets fast and has success can be very invigorating and exciting. But with that being said, this success at an early age doesn't necessarily guarantee or provide justification that there's going to be future success. So don't start selling the farm so that the Olympics are on their radar, or they're going to get that $1 million signing contract from Speedo, or they're going to get a full-time or full-ride scholarship to a college because they're the fastest 8-year-old in Prince William County. There's a lot of things that go into it, and one of those things is that at a young age, the fastest swimmers a lot of times are a little bit more mature in how they've progressed. Their maturation is ahead of their peers, and although some of their peers may be a bit behind, much of this changes as growth spurts happen and more lessons get taken in. So I tell you this because a lot of times, you see very large swimmers or larger kids get a lot of success. But there's some things that we take into account as we're progressing kids and as we're watching them develop. First of all, the question here is, which one of these swimmers is 12, which one is 14, and which one is 16? Well, the answer to that is actually that they're all 14 years old. So there's a lot of differences that can happen within ages there. And so comparing someone that has a smaller stature, there could be some reasons for that. So there's implications to this, the early versus late maturation. Late maturing athlete is generally smaller in stature initially, less strength, lower motor skills at the beginning, less athletic success in grade school. And the practical implications that we know that we need to take into account is that late maturation can be perceived sometimes as having low competence due to biological disadvantage. Okay? There's a lack of positive attention. Parents aren't all in, the community's not all in. Sometimes even coaches from time to time, if we don't know about it, and this is why it's important to understand this, is that they won't provide the positive attention. They won't push those kids to become the best they can be, because they're perceived as not having the skills to be an elite level athlete. However, one of the things that we know is that the swimmers that aren't generally going to be the fastest one, they can learn how to work hard, how to persevere, how to better focus on skills, because the success doesn't necessarily come easy. But only nurtured by the coaches and the parents does that keep in mind, and that's why we keep that long-term perspective in mind. Whereas the early maturing athletes, generally they're taller, heavier, stronger, have more endurance, they pick up on things really quickly, the grade school star, getting all the attention of everything. Early maturation provides that biological advantage, but because of that early success, sometimes the neglect of coming to practice all the time, or working on skills the right way, or maybe even pushing themselves in practice doesn't come as easily, because they think they can just have that success by continually just pushing themselves in competitions. Get a lot of recognition from parents, a lot of recognition from their peers and coaches. However, there will be a time when that gap closes. It may not close all the way, it may even close the other way, where the kids that are early or later mature start to pass them up, and that can be difficult for them to overcome that frustration when they say, oh, well, when I was 10 years old, I was beating that swimmer really easily, and now they've caught up. It's a difficult realization. So again, just implications that we think of as we're trying to develop the swimmers and making sure that we're keeping a watchful eye for the early versus late maturations. So we're always keeping in mind the future changes, long-term development, helping early maturers keep success in perspective, learning to work hard and focus on the long-term development there, not just on the short-term recognition that the kids tend to get. Taking active steps to help the late maturers stay excited about swimming and developing the work ethic and skills to catch up when the growth does hit, and helps them catch up. So bottom line, keeping early success in perspective, the top 8-year-old is not more likely to get a college scholarship than the slowest 8-year-old right now. Every child grows at different times. The key is someone requires a long-term approach to learning, growing, developing into their potential as they age. And here's a stat that kind of supports that. USA Swimming stopped ranking 10 and unders a while back, but before they did that, they found that if you were ranked in the top 10 in the USA as a 10-year-old, only 11% of those swimmers were still ranked in the top 10 when they were 17, 18 years old. If you're 11 and 12, 21% of those continued to stay ranked in the top 10. 13, 14 odds go up a little bit, 15, 16 odds go up a little bit. But the bottom line is 50% of the top 17-year-old and 18-year-old swimmers develop after their junior year of high school. So there is so much opportunity for kids that are willing to learn, willing to work, and willing to push through some of the ups and downs that come with the swimming career. If they stick with it and push through, 17, 18 years old, there's the opportunities for college scholarships. There's the opportunities to push through and be a top swimmer in the country. And I've got a little story. So I had a swimmer, and I've used this example a number of times. His name is Mark, and he started swimming at the age of 7 years old. And I look back at his times even the other day when I was telling this story to another group. And when he was 7 years old, his time was the slowest in a 25 freestyle and 25 backstroke, was the slowest on the team. And even if he were to swim today, he would be the slowest swimmer on the team right now. But he started swimming at age 7, and he stayed with it all the way till 18. He learned how to work hard. He learned how to do the skills right. He learned the power of commitment, and he learned all those characteristics that we're talking about. And by the time he was a senior in high school, when he did develop and he got all the strength and things like that, he was one of the top swimmers in the state. He's currently, I think he's a junior at the Air Force Academy, which to get in the Air Force Academy, we all know it's very difficult. But he learned all those traits through persevering and pushing through things. So he's a good example of, hey, you can be the slowest swimmer at a young age. As long as you learn and grow from the things that we teach, you can become one of the best, and you can certainly learn a lot from the process. So how do you support your swimmer on a regular basis? Ask them if they had fun. Ask them if they gave a best effort. Reassure them that no matter their success or failure, you love them, you love watching them swim, having fun, learning lots, and giving their best effort. Encourage them to trust and follow their coach. Even if you don't see eye to eye, encourage them to continue to learn from them. Encourage them to grow and to come back and show you and tell you all the things that they learned. And certainly don't talk negatively about your swimmer's coach in front of them. It can really destroy the confidence in the swimmers and the confidence in the coaches to learn from the swimmers throughout that. And if you have any questions about what's being done at practices or anything your swimmer comes home with, don't be afraid to send a note to the coach, send a note to me. We can help walk you through it and interpret what the concerns are. So at practice, I know a lot of you guys have been to practice the last couple of days, and you probably have had the opportunity to see the process and what happens there. But so I realize that we didn't get this out beforehand, but I do want to make sure that's very clear. You're welcome to watch any practice. We certainly want you to come in, and we have an open door policy to come in and watch. But some of the pool decks here at Central Park, we do allow you, as long as you're not in the way of things and not in the way of the places where the kids are going to come and grab their stuff. But you certainly are allowed to come into the facility and sit wherever you'd like. At some of the pools, I know Chin is this way, and I believe Colgan is this way. They will not allow you on the pool deck. Wharf, I think, is that way as well, where they want you to drop your swimmer off and then go find a place to sit in the facility. Certainly don't hover around the practice. So what we're trying to do is get the kids to become part of a group and listen to the coaches and be able to pay attention and learn everything. And the more you hover, the less opportunity there is for them to bond and learn and grow and pay attention to the coach as they go through. And then also try not to talk to your swimmer or send signals to your swimmer. So you tell them to do little things with their hands. Now all of a sudden the attention turns from listening to the coach and learning what they're supposed to be doing there to now paying attention to mom and dad to try to impress you with all that they're doing. And then we'll talk about this in here instead. Don't try to coach your swimmer. Instead, ask them what they've learned and how they felt after they accomplished the great things. Parents' role, and we talked a little bit about this last time. Let the coach be your swimmer's coach. Show your support for the coach and build the swimmer's trust in the process that's provided by teaching at a high level, teaching and training at a high level. Help the kids progressively take ownership of their actions and results. Don't compare your kids to other kids. Again, kind of back to the developmental maturation is making sure that the kids are given positive reinforcements about their work ethic and the things that they're pushing themselves to do no matter what. Do encourage an identity outside of swimming. Swimming is a big deal, and it's a huge deal to us. This is all our lives, and we've put a lot of time into this. But at the same time, we encourage all the kids to have something else that they are aspiring to be and aspiring to do outside of the pool, whether it's being involved with the church or being involved with your activities at school. We want you to be an elite level athlete and a highest level swimmer. But there's a lot to learn out there in the world that we can't present absolutely everything. So being well-rounded and finding some other things to learn from is important as well. Enjoy being a swim parent. If you don't enjoy being a swim parent, sometimes that can mean that you're a pressure parent. You're putting pressure on your swimmer because you have high expectations for them, and that can be stressful. This should not be a stressful thing for parents. Parents should be excited and should feel confident, but also feel as though their kids are in a good place. And so if not, please talk to us, and we can help reassure you and help you find ways to deal with some of that pressure. Get involved, and we'll talk about this a little bit. Certainly support your swimmer's coach, activities, breakfast, things like that to support your group would be great. Volunteer at meets, become an official. We'll talk a little bit more about that. One of the best things, and this kind of goes back to my own swimming career. My parents knew nothing about swimming, and it was always fun for me to go home and be able to tell my parents about the things that I did, the things that I learned at practice. The first time that I was able to do a 50 butterfly, I can remember telling my mom about it, and I can remember about being able to swim a nonstop 500 freestyle for the first time. Things like that when you give it over to your child to want to learn and grow from an adult and a coach that knows a lot about the sport and is a professional, they can come home and really be excited about presenting those things to you. So allow them to own it that way. Ask them what they do every day and how they feel about it, and get them excited about it, but also get them excited about coming home and telling you about it to help foster that growth. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but beware of overcoaching your coach. It's a spiral that tends to create some tension, and it kind of goes around. So if you have a swimmer or a child that needs you to tell them what to do, for example, if you're at a swim practice and you see they're not doing something in practice, now you've told yourself, okay, they need me to step in and do this. So every day at practice, you start giving them hand signals to be able to change what they're doing in the swim practice. The coach sees that, and the coach is going to start to back away because the coach doesn't want to get between a parent and a child. They know that relationship is very strong, and they want to continue to nurture that, and they want that to be very strong. And so the coach will back away from coaching because they don't want also there to be a conflict where the coach says one thing and the parent says another thing, and now the kid doesn't know who to trust. The coach backs away from coaching the child as the parent, so as to not interfere with the parent message. The parent gets reinforced to say, yep, I got to keep on doing this. I got to keep on telling my swimmer what to do. I got to keep on telling my child how to do things. And then again, it goes back to it. You're going to give them signals, the coach is going to back away, and there's this endless cycle of when is the right time and when is the time to be able to allow your child to learn from someone else. Allow your child to grow and be taught by a professional coach that has a great backing and a great system in place to be able to support it. So parents that tend to hover carry the kids through the learning process, and I'm not going to go into these in a whole lot of detail, but we're trying to create kids that are resilient and can take care of themselves in the future. And the questions are you a helicopter parent? Are you a curling parent? Are you constantly paving the way for your kids? Or are you allowing them to learn and grow as well as fail? And that's a big part of a sport, is learning how to fail and how to grow from it, and seeing that it's not the end game is a failure, it's the opportunity to grow and learn from it. So keep pushing that message to the kids, keep helping them learn from the opportunities to fail. And businesses, colleges, there's articles all over the place about helicopter parents, but one of the big things, and this is tough because I've seen this before in a high-level athletes when they get to high school, is their lack of belief in their own ability to complete tasks and reach goals, because the parent has always been there to do those things, to make their bed or make their lunch or do these things. Those are all basic things that the kids are going to eventually learn to do. But if we don't allow them to learn to do them, they're not going to grow and not going to feel that independence and ability to really take off in their careers and their lives and everything else. So real basic things that you can do to help your swimmers experience. Timeliness. That's a real easy one. Hey, that's one of our priorities is timeliness and making sure that we're utilizing the time, respecting those that come to our practices. So the first thing you can do is just try to arrive on time. And I realize we live in a very busy area. There's always little variables that come up, whether it's a train in the way or traffic. But on a regular basis, if you can commit to always wanting to be there on time, your kids are going to pick up on that, and that's going to become an important factor later on. Commit to a regular schedule. Again, how to stay committed to something. Right now is a great time to talk to your swimmer about, hey, we're getting into this sport, we're putting a lot of energy into it, whether it's resources of money, resources of the parents helping to volunteer, we're going to get you to practice, we're going to sacrifice all these things. You don't need to lay it out that way, but just let them understand, what are we doing, how much do we want to commit to? How many days are you going to stick to every single week? And making that commitment can help them to understand on the difficult times when they don't want to get out of bed, or they don't want to leave their friends back home and want to just play at home. Hey, we committed to this. We made a decision that you wanted to be the best you could possibly be, so we're going to keep on going to practice and stay on this commitment. Keep competitions focused on the betterment of themselves, so certainly healthy competition and helping the kids to understand that we're out there trying to beat our best time, beat our best skills, and keep improving as ourselves. And yeah, we use other people to compete with, and that's a healthy thing. But learning from those losses, or learning from disappointments, and learning from failures that will happen eventually is an important part of all this. And then again, get involved with volunteering. Kids do love it when their family is around, when their parents are around, to be able to help support their passions, and competition is a big part of that. So real quickly, what does success look like? It's making a maximum effort. It's continuing to love and learn and improve. It's refusing to let mistakes or the fear of making them stop them or prevent them to continue to grow. All right, so off my soapbox there, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the processes and communication. So when and how do you talk with a coach? First of all, don't try to carry a conversation on the pool deck as you're dropping your swimmer off. If you have a quick little 10-second note to say, hey, I got to pick my swimmer up early, or hey, check your email, I just sent you an email, that's great. But if you have a conversation, their focus at the beginning of practice is to get the practice going and get the connection with the kids, not with the parents. We're trying to take our time to focus on the kids that are there and what's coming up with practice. So if you have a conversation, if you need a conversation, please schedule a time with them to either talk by email or to meet before a practice or after the practice over the phone, things like that. And then also the same thing afterwards. Just like you, when you're trying to leave to pick up your kids or get home to your spouse or whatever it might be, please don't try to hold a coach up unless they engage the conversation. Certainly they're doing that for a reason, and they have the time. But don't expect them to stay after practice unless you have to schedule that with them. Because again, they've got other obligations to get to, whether that's getting to bed so they can get up the next morning for practice, or getting to their families at home that are waiting for them from their jobs. How can you find out about how your swimmer is doing? Coaches take an interest in each swimmer, and they know a lot about them after working with them daily. So the first thing to do is send an email and just ask about their progress, so how they're doing. And maybe this first email is I've got a couple questions that I'll ask you here at the end. but give them some feedback on that, and also maybe give them, hey, how's my kid fit into the group? How are they doing? How are they working? Are they paying attention? Things like that you can help to reinforce after practices. And then you can also expect regular emails from your Summers coach about practices, upcoming events. So you'll find out about those. They'll also have some ways that they're going to help recognize some of the kids that are doing some exceptional work throughout the course of the season. Season plans, basically, we've got 3 seasons, so to speak, of our competitive map. The fall is September to December. And it's really, if we're looking at especially the entry level or the beginning level programs, the medley and the advanced, it's building the skills and gaining new habits, building some confidence and some fitness in them, so that they have a nice foundation for the rest of the year. Winter becomes increasing the challenges to improve fitness, advancing the skills, and in April to July, which is the summer season, but also we continue to train towards long course competitions. So practice and fitness levels go up, and skill work always continues. Basic outline of a practice. First of all, arrive on time and be ready to go. So the practice time, we have allotted amount of practice time that usually starts at the top or the bottom of an hour. And that's the time we actually are trying to get in the water, because we pay for that lane of time for the hour that we have it. So we want to make sure we maximize that for the kids' sake, to be able to get everything we can out of the practice time. So arriving on time means arriving before the practice starts, giving your swimmer a chance to get their cap and goggles on, giving your swimmer a chance to settle in and get their stuff down, and then be ready and with their goggles all ready to go so that they can pay attention to the coach. There's generally going to be a warm-up portion of it, which is getting the kids kind of adapted from being a land animal to being a fish, and so that's usually a warm-up and an acclimation with the water, or doing a little bit of a swim, some skills or whatever they might be working on there, and then a skill focus, something that they're going to try to teach them, and something that is the goal of the practice to be able to gain from, to build some of that capacity to be able to swim better and stronger and faster. There might be a fitness challenge to it. It might be a kicking set. It might be something to help them build up some endurance. It might be something to build up, some of the strength that they get in the water as well. And then a challenge or a wrap up to finish things up. So if you arrive late or leave early, you may miss part of practice. And we want the kids to be there the whole time so that they encompass the whole session there. The season will get tougher because the kids get tougher. So as the season starts, it's at a real basic level for the most part. Kids come in with certain skills and certain fitness, and we start at that point. And as the season goes, those challenges are going to become more and more challenging, or higher level, because the kids are getting stronger. As the kids get stronger, we add more stress and more opportunities to grow. They'll get stronger, they'll adapt to that. They'll add more stress and adapt to it a little bit more. So there's a benefit to coming consistently, number one. And number two, if you miss a long time, sometimes it's difficult to jump back into that. So just keep in mind, we're always trying to keep that nice little progression so that the kids can keep up with things, but also continue to adapt to the training and adapt to the skills that are being taught. Each day is different generally. Now this is not the practice schedule by any means. This is not the way the coaches work. Sometimes the whole week of the first week can be all freestyle, and the second week all backstroke. But just wanted to give you an outline that if you are on a 2 or 3 day practice group, there are kids that are coming to all 5 days, but if you're on a 2 or 3 day practice group, if you stay on those days, you should be able to hit all the skills within a 4-week period. Okay, and what I mean by that is if you're coming Monday and Wednesday, if you come Monday and Wednesday for 2 weeks, you're going to get freestyle, breaststroke, backstroke, and butterfly all done. But if you come Monday and Tuesday 1 week, and then you come Wednesday and Thursday the next week, and then you come Wednesday and Saturday or Friday the next week, you may only get 2 of the 3 strokes done, or maybe 3 of the 4 strokes done. So staying on a consistent pattern can help to keep up with the skills and developing there. Swim meets. Participation in meets is not required. However, we want everybody to swim. And studies have shown that the swimmers that compete are 80% more likely to enjoy swimming as a sport. So if you're coming in here just to train, we've got some groups that you can do that with that are non-competitive. We want your kids to be involved in the competitive aspect. And that's just being able to connect what we are doing at practices to being able to create success and learn from failures there at the swim meets. So please do encourage your kids to be a part of that. Coaches will certainly press that and push that as the season goes. What meets to enter, your coach will provide you, or if they haven't provided you, you're certainly welcome to request it, but they're going to provide you with a list of meets and events your swimmer should be swimming in upcoming competitions. They'll know when and how much to challenge your swimmer. So your swimmer may always want to do the 50 free and 50 backstroke for the rest of their life, and that's all they like to do. Well, the coaches see that as an opportunity to grow, obviously. We want the kids to do all 4 strokes. We want them to be able to do 50s, 25s, 100s, 200s when they're ready at different levels of all 4 strokes. So our goal is to have the kids swim in that variety of things, and the coaches will know when it's time to challenge them. We have kind of a formula of things when we see kids that are at a certain level of skill, but also a certain time. We know that they're ready to do a little bit longer distance for the 200s and 500 freestyle, things like that. Entering on Team Unify, there's 2 things here. If you certainly aren't going to something, go ahead and click you're not going to go. That'll help to prevent any further emails being sent to you to remind you to sign up. If you are going, sign up, just pull down and say yes by each one of your swimmers, and then pay attention to some of the details of the meet. Sometimes there's entry fees, sometimes it's free, so pay attention to some of those things there. There's also certain events that have qualifying times. If you ever see a red script there for your any event that your swimmer has underneath them, it usually means they're not qualified for that specific event. So talk to your coach if you see anything like that come up and you think they should be. What to do at a swim meet. We will send out some pre-swim meet notes. It's a little bit different than a summer league meet, so we want to make sure you're aware of that. First of all, we're inside, so some things are limited with how we can have a number of people in here and things like that to be able to watch everything. But the bottom line is that you're going to drop your swimmer off and have a process for them to check in with their coach, sit in a team area, and be ready to go to their events when the coach says it's time, or when they can read their arm and know when to go. All of our meets, except for the 8 and under meets, do not have a clerk of course, so they're not going to line them up and say, here's where you're supposed to go. There's a sheet of paper that tells you your heat and lanes, and it will keep on going through, and learning that process is a responsibility of the swimmers as they advance into different programs. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get closer to our first meet. Again, watch your swimmer, don't coach them, let them learn from the coaches, ask them if they had fun, tell them you enjoyed watching them, and again, don't compare. After the meet, make sure to explain your swimmer what and where to do and where to meet when the swim meet is done. So again, if we're here at Central Park Aquatic Center, again, most of our first meets are going to be in this facility. Just say, hey, when you're done, pick up all your stuff. Do not leave a single thing. Make sure you got your goggles. Make sure you got your sweatshirt. Make sure you got your shoes, your socks, your underwear, whatever else you brought. Make sure they got their name on it first of all, so we can find it if they bring it to the right person if it is theirs. But second of all, make them responsible to clean up after themselves in their little area. And then from there, tell them what you want them to do, whether it's go take a shower, get dressed, and come outside, or grab your stuff, put your parka on, put your sweatshirt on, I'll meet you in the front of the building. And then from there, be able to go to the car. But having that process down so that the kids don't get lost. Some of the facilities are a little bit bigger, and it can be intimidating to say, oh my gosh, I don't know where my 7-year-old is or 6-year-old is in that facility. Being a positive parent, a great example to kids, encourage and congratulate all the swimmers, not just your own, can help your swimmer to also recognize that they're part of a team and it's not just about them. Control your emotions in frustrating situations, abide and respect by the officials and referees' decisions. Remember what success looks like. It's making that maximum effort, continuing to learn and improve, and refusing to let mistakes affect them negatively. Questions to ask your swimmer after practices. This is just a list that you can use. I know when I ask my kids how the school was, I usually get, I don't know, from them. But these are a little more open-ended questions that you can ask them and help them to, if the first time they don't know the answer, maybe the next time they'll at least think about it so they can come back and tell you how things went. Help in a swimming experience, let your child know and support their participation in swimming, get involved, provide your swimmer with the proper equipment, and expect them to be responsible for it. So most of the groups, that means fins and a kickboard, snorkel for some of the groups, paddles for some of the groups, certainly making sure that they have their name on it and that they take responsibility for bringing it in and taking it home every single day. Monitor your child's participation so you know how they're developing. Don't interfere or second guess the coach unless they're abusive or unethical. Report this immediately to your safe sport coordinator, which is Todd Mercer, or myself, and I can get that information to them. Keep the coaches informed if your child is injured and needs to miss practice. So if something happens, if they get sick and they're out for an extended period of time, coaches want to know where the kids are, and it certainly helps them to keep track of who's going to be at practice so that they can set up the practice based on the lanes and things like that. But also they want to know. They want to know where the kids are and want to know how they can best help them when they come back or whatever else might be going on. And that includes some of the things that your child might be dealing with. If you have a death in a family or things like that, it's good for a coach to know that. A lot of times, it can be difficult to work through those things, and a coach having some knowledge of what your child is experiencing is very helpful for us to be able to soften our approach or help them through some of these things through the practices and to help them still enjoy things. Make certain your child is eating properly and getting enough sleep. Again, we have the video games and the phones and iPads, things like that. Sleep is important, and making sure that they're not just looking at a screen, but they are actually getting good sleep as well as eating healthy and get the connection of taking care of themselves away from the pool to help themselves become the best they can be at the pool. And then finally, say positive compose. Be an example of what you want your child, or how you want your child to behave in and out of competition there. A couple other things, and this kind of becomes a little bit random on some of the notes, but I just want to get things out there. Kids' performances are unpredictable. There's times when you can see an 8-year-old that looks like, man, they're on trajectory to be the fastest in the area, and they're going to be great, and the next time they show up, and whether it's because all of a sudden they're disinterested for the day, or they got bad sleep, or they ate a hamburger, or whatever it is, or ate a big donut, okay, whatever it is, little kids' performances are very unpredictable. And yeah, there should be a progression eventually. There's going to be ups and downs with that progression. It's not going to be a steady stream of continual improvement every single time. So they will fail, and they will have opportunities to learn and grow from that. Regardless of the outcome, certainly help them know that, or encourage them to know and help them understand that you enjoyed watching them, and help them hope they had fun. All right, website stuff, team communication. We'll have a monthly newsletter that'll come out each month that'll kind of set up some of the stuff that's happened the current month, and also some of the things that are going to be coming out in the following month. Email blasts from the team, whether that's a change of facility, change of times, things like that will come out. Coach emails. This is going to be the main thing, or main source of information is going directly through your coach for practice times, for what specific events to sign up for. Things like that. That information will come directly from your coach, usually on a weekly basis, and you'll get something from that. Administrative updates, if there's anything to update regarding your accounts or anything like that, that'll come from administration, and you'll get the different updates as things come around. Just so you know, we did update Team Unify just recently, and so there's been some glitches in the billing and things like that, but I think right now we're at a pretty good spot with all that. Team Unify stuff, accounts, your events, your On Deck app is actually called Sport Engine now, Sport Engine something. Anyways, that's on another screen here. But that's where you do entries, results. You'll get alerts that come through if you activate that. And you can track your swimmers' attendance on there, I believe, as well. Policies on the web that you can see. This is on the OCCS.org. We've got code of conduct, anti-bullying, things like that. It's really important to stay up to date with what those policies are from your side of it, just so you know what we are enforcing and things that could happen with that. Whether it's the minor athlete abuse prevention, the concussion training, things that we have to follow through with. If there's a concussion in practice, we will tell you to go to the doctor and get some guidance before you can come back. Things like that. Contract payments, other policies of weather closings, things like that are on there as well. So again, ongoing from OCCS, and then how to contact us. Email is preferred. Your coach email should be there. They probably have already shared it, but for most of them, it's just coachwhatever@swimoccs.org. Your administrative lead is Hannah, and she can answer any questions about your account and about billing and things like that. If the coaches provide their phone number, please respect the timing of your messages. Some are single people, some are married, some have kids, some don't have kids, some have dogs, some have whatever. But they all have lives outside of their job here. Their job is to be a coach, but at the same time, please respect, just like you would hope people respect you during your off times, of not getting phone calls or text messages throughout time when coaches the coaches are recovering from practices or having a weekend away for the family and things like that. Again, talked about this already, but your Team Unify account will give you a lot of that stuff. Sports Engine, this is an app you can download on your phone. You'll log in with your same credentials as you use for the website. Just walk through that, and that'll keep you up to date. You'll have everything right there in front of you. You can sign up for meets. You can pay your bills. You can keep track of some of the events that are coming up all through that little app there. Contract details. Competitive swimming memberships are either 9 or 11 months. There's an option to cancel memberships for new swimmers. If you're new to the program and you feel like after these first couple of weeks things aren't lined up perfectly with what you were expecting, you're welcome to ask for a removal of the contract. You would just be due 1/9 year contract and then be released from the remainder of your contract. Tuition installments, just realize these aren't monthly tuition rates. We do have programs that are month to month, such as the Speed Squad. Our lesson programs are month to month, and the non-competitive homeschool programs are month to month. But these are contracts with USA Swimming or with Aquan Swimming. The 9 and 11 month programs are contracts for the 9 and 11 months, because we contract to the pools, we contract to the coaches, all based on what our budget looks like here at the beginning of the season. And if we have people leaving halfway through, now it prevents us to be able to fulfill those contracts that we have made with on your behalf for the use of facilities and use of the coaches and everything else that we have. Entry fees, the foundational meets, these first few meets are all included. That's going to be the first freestyle fartlek meet, the medley mayhem, the medley extreme, and the fall fest. For I think just about every program, those 4 meets are included in tuition. Other meets, there will be fees that will be passed on from those meet hosts that we have to pay on your behalf. Those are billed after you've entered your swimmer. So regardless of whether you participate or not, if you have signed up, there are generally going to be entry fees associated, because if we're going to another meet that another team hosts, we have to send them a check before the meet begins on your behalf and on the swimmer's behalf. So we can't get that refunded back to us. If a sickness comes up, if an injury comes up, if you decide to take a family vacation, or the kids just have to miss for any reason, we can't get that back. So entry deadlines are the time when the entry fees are imposed for any meets that we do have entry fees on. Volunteers, again, we need a lot of help. Just like we're summer league team, just like every organization out there that has youth sports, it takes a whole lot of people to be able to run things. And our biggest thing is with competitions. We host some really great competitions, and we're able to host them because we have such a great foundation of volunteers to help. Whether it's for the timers or marshals or things like that. All of these are entry level. We can teach you really quickly how to do. There's a few that you have to get some certifications done, but we have some opportunities to grow with that as well. And that's becoming a USA Swimming official. It's a great way to get involved with competitive swimming. It is a volunteer position. However, we do provide as a program a lot of other benefits as well. But just on the outside, even if we didn't provide those, your volunteer hours are tax deductible. The family incentive is up to $500 off next year's tuition. So if you have a mother and a father both volunteering to officiate, that's $1,000 off your tuition next year if you work a certain number of sessions. Meet lots of other amazing parents and people, and you can get free travel once your kids progress up to higher level meets. A lot of the high level meets with USA Swimming, they pay for their officials to come in. They'll pay for their hotel room. Sometimes they pay for their travel. their airfare, things like that. So if you're traveling with a swimmer and you're an official, you might be able to go for free, and your swimmer just has to pay for their way, or the team might pay that way for them to get there. So it can help a lot of those things as well. A lot of leadership opportunities, not just within our program, but also Potomac Valley Swimming. We've had the past 3 years, I believe, or 2 years, we've had the officials chair for all of Potomac Valley Swimming, was an Occoquan Swimming official. We also had a parent that was with us. It's been a while since he's been with us. Back in 2007 was his last year with us. But he is currently the chairperson. I can't remember his exact title, but he's basically the lead person of USA Swimming from Occoquan Swimming in his background. So there's a lot of opportunities out there to get into leadership within the sport and kind of grow with your swimmer as they go through. There's two aspects. There's the wet side, which is being on the pool deck and watching the kids and raising your arm if you see something wrong and give them DQ slip. Or there's the dry side, which is up here in the stair, up in the admin area, doing computers and admin stuff. So if you have a tendency to like computers, they're pretty basic programs. If you're a computer nerd, you're going to say, "Oh, this is pretty basic." You're going to pick up on it really quickly. But there's lots of opportunities there to get involved and not be on the pool deck and get wet all the time. And we, like I said, we have a tradition of being a very robust and active crew. We're able to do our own meets because we have a lot of officials, but we always need more. We always need to keep rebuilding that and keep bringing new people in to help us out. So if you're going to have a swimmer at meets, it's a great way to get involved. You get free food at all the swim meets that we provide, drinks, and certainly get to know a lot of great people a little more intimately. Fundraising, we do 3 major fundraisers throughout the course of the season. Fall fundraiser, information will be coming out for that shortly. We do a big raffle, and then we also have ongoing fundraisers with the sponsorships and advertisements that we'll be sending out here shortly as well. USA Swimming membership, there's a process that every family will need to do within USA Swimming. So this is separate from Occoquan Swimming. You do have to initiate this process. First of all, don't start the process until all the instructions are provided later on, and you'll have a link to go to. Returning members will not need to do this until November or December, so you got some time if you're returning, but for brand new people, you're going to have to do it before your first competition. So here in the next week or so, we'll send the link out. The cost is paid by each family. It's separate from OCCS, so that'll go towards USA Swimming. You'll pay that directly on their website. There's an option for a light version, which is the flex version, and it's $30 for the year, but that only allows you to do 2 competitions for the year. So if you're on the fence with doing a whole lot of swim meets, it's a good way to get started. There's no penalty if you decide later on to do more meets. You just pay the difference to up to $96 for the premium membership, which will cover you for the whole season, because the memberships go from now until December of 2024. So when you register right now, it'll go till the end of next calendar year. One thing that drove a lot of people crazy last year, and I still see it every once in a while in the past couple of months, is that you are first creating your account, you as a parent. So when you go to this website and you see that there's a login here, and you don't have a login, or you don't know if you have a login, first of all, there's a lot of help articles you can go through, but second, click on create a login. Now this is for you as a parent. It's not for your swimmer yet, it's just for you. You're going to create a login and create a parent account. Don't register yourself unless you intend to become an official. All right, so you're not going to put your name on a registration necessarily to pay for. You are just creating an account to be able to pay for your swimmer. All right, and then once you become an official, then you will want to generate that membership for yourself. So don't pay for a membership for yourself, just pay for, but you have to create an account for yourself and then create the membership for your swimmer there. Safe Sport certification, a couple other things here, guys, and I apologize, I'm going a little bit longer than I'd hoped to tonight, but I got a couple more things to talk about. We have a very safe and welcoming environment within Occoquan Swimming, and we want to continue to be certified. We want to continue to promote that. And the more parents that we can get involved, and swimmers for that matter, get involved to go through the process of taking a Safe Sport course, the better certification we get, but also the more knowledge that all of our families have. So I will encourage you all, once you've created your account, to go into USA Swimming's university or learning center and then click on Safe Sports. And there's 4 things there. The first one there is the Parent's Guide to Misconduct in Sport. That's for you. That's it's a 30-minute presentation that'll walk you through some of the things that we all need to keep a lookout on as we're working with youth sports. It's again, very worth your time, and we certainly would appreciate you doing that. The second is for kids that are 13 to 17 years old. That's a Safe Sport for Youth Athletes. And it's the same sort of thing. It's a 15-minute presentation. And again, it's just creating some boundaries between adults and athletes, so there's a clear understanding within a whole program of where everybody stands and what limits there are. All right, finally, and again, apologize, it was been a little bit long, but got 4 questions, and it might be good to just write them down and keep them handy for later on to go back and look at. Or even to share them with your coach, your swimmer's coach, and let them know what you're looking for. When a coach knows what the intentions are, it can be easier to keep in mind of, okay, are they making progress on these things? And we've got a framework that we work through, but it's also nice to be able to learn from you as a parent what your expectations are, so that they can grow from there. So, what do you think swimming is, or why do you think swimming is good sport for your child? What would you like them to accomplish as being a part of swimming? How many practices do they plan to attend per week? What swim meets are you going to be available for? So again, some of those answers you may not know, or maybe you just say, hey, whatever you want, coach. But good way to kind of start the conversation with your coach and help introduce them to your athlete. So with that, I certainly appreciate and are so grateful to have you guys here this season. I think we have over 120 brand new families joining Aquaquan Swimming, and we're very excited to introduce you to what we do as a program and our progressions that we have, and the things that your kids are going to experience this year are second to none. And we certainly are grateful that you're a part of this, and look forward to getting to know you more and your swimmer more. To be able to help provide them with a great swimming experience this season and for a very long time. So thank you very much, guys. Have a great night, and we'll see you all very, very soon.